Hi, fourth grade. In this video, I'm going to be letting you know what your reading project will be for this week. I'm going to introduce it today, and you'll have today, Tuesday, and Wednesday to work on it. It is due by the end of the day on Wednesday, May 6th. I know this video is long, but it's really important that you watch the entire video so you know exactly what to do, exactly what's expected for the project. And if you have any further questions, please email me or Miss Claver, and we're happy to help you. Watch the video and let us know if you have any questions, and have a great start to your week. So let's learn more about the Unit 8 Extension Project. Here are the texts that we've read this unit. We've read first-hand and second-hand accounts of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. We've considered how Earth's natural processes impact our lives. So now we're going to take what we know and apply it to our own lives by picking a project that best connects with us. You have your choice of which project you want to do. You have the next 3 days to work on this. This is due Wednesday. You are going to pick a project today and stick with it. We do not want you changing your project. You're going to pick one today, and that is what you're going to follow through with till it is due on Wednesday. So option number 1 for your project is a persuasive commercial. Friendly reminder that being persuasive is to convince someone to agree with you or to convince someone to do something. So you are going to convince your viewers what is the safest region in the United States, and you're going to convince them to move there. This is all for fun. It's just a creative way to show what you know. So there are 5 regions of our United States. There's the Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, Southwest, and West. You're going to do a little research to determine which is the safest region in the United States. I want you to think about where in the country are there the least amount of natural disasters. Do you want to be by the ocean where there could be tsunamis and hurricanes? Do you want to be on plate boundaries where there could be earthquakes or volcanoes? So you will do your research to determine where is the safest region where there's the least amount of Earth's natural processes that can cause damage or destruction. After you've figured out which region you believe is the safest, you want to have evidence of why, and you want to convince the viewer that they should live there. You are going to create a video on clips on your iPad persuading or convincing the viewer to move to that region because it's the safest. Your teacher is going to be watching this video to make sure you have good presentation skills, you have good evidence, you know it's reliable evidence, you didn't just make it up, you did research to find this, so you will have to use your iPad, use Google to determine which region is the safest, explain that on your video, and then post it for us to view. This option is a fun way to get creative, to act, to pretend to be a newscaster or someone who is on like the National Geographic Channel who has a lot of knowledge on our country and how to keep people safe. I hope you consider this option for your project. Remember, if you're interested in one of these projects, as you listen to each, screenshot it. And at the end of this video, I would like you to post which option you are going to do for your project. Remember, the one you pick is the one you're going to stick to, and you're not going to change your project later in this week. You have 3 days to work on it. So if you're interested in option number 1, please screenshot now. Option number 2 is a fun one. It's another acting, but you're actually not going to be videoing yourself. You're going to be doing it on the Explain EDU app, which you all have on your iPads. So it is a first-hand account reenactment. So you're going to act as if you were a person who was present and there during a natural disaster. So think of Pliny the Younger when he saw Mount Vesuvius erupt. You would be acting as if you were Pliny and you were explaining what you saw, how you felt, what was going on around you, and you would be pretending that you were there during the volcanic eruption or the natural disaster that took place. So you're reenacting someone's first-hand account of a natural disaster. To do this project, you have to start with investigating it. So you need to research one of the following natural disasters, and you can only choose from these 4. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the eruption of Mount St. Helens, or the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Once you have a good understanding of what the event was, the destruction that it caused, and imagining yourself how you would feel if you were in that situation. You're going to download photographs of this natural disaster to use as the background of your screen. You're going to import that as the background of your screen, kind of like how I put this picture on there on my Explain EDU app. You're going to do the same. Remember that this is a sensitive topic and people lost their lives in these events, so make sure you're being respectful when working on this project. It is not supposed to be silly when you're reenacting it. But you're going to find a picture of the background of it, so I would have like a picture of Mount Vesuvius here. And then I would either draw a character or find an image of a person who would be present. So if I was doing Pliny the Younger at Mount Vesuvius, I would find a picture of someone maybe in a toga or old-fashioned clothing, and I would move the character around as if he is present during the eruption at Pompeii. So you are putting yourself in the perspective of a citizen living during the natural disaster you choose. You are to write a script, so you need to prepare and write a script on a piece of paper using sensory details of their experience during the natural disaster. You're going to describe what you see, what you feel, what's going on around you. On the Explain EDU or Explain Everything app, you're using the picture as a background, add in a person that could have been alive during the time of your disaster. Then you're going to read your script and move your character with your finger on your iPad screen as if they were a first-hand account of the natural disaster. Take a screencast of this video by clicking record. So it will record your voice and your movements on the screen to show your first-hand account of the natural disaster. Then you're going to post your video on Seesaw. This is a really fun one. It's for creative students. You're putting yourself in another person's perspective, imagining what it would be like to be there, and you get to be creative using your iPad. So if this is something you're interested in, please screenshot option 2 as your project selection. Option number 3 is a really cool one. It's a service project. So I want you to think of any service that you have possibly helped out with, whether it was a can drive, feeding the homeless, maybe it was Feed My Starving Children. You are doing something to help others. So for this project, you're kind of imagining how you could help victims of a natural disaster. A service project is anything you volunteer to help someone in your community. So this could be like lake cleanups, making sandwiches for soup kitchens, donating canned food, etc. So our focus here for this project is disaster relief. So you're going to think, what natural disaster do you want to focus on? Do you want to help those who have been impacted by an earthquake, a tsunami, a hurricane, a volcanic eruption? How could you help the victims of this natural disaster? What ideas do you have of how you could help people who have suffered from hurricane destruction or volcanic eruption destruction? How would you make this happen? Would you need adults' help? Would you have our Indian Trail family help with this? Are you going to organize a can drive? Are you going to clean up the mess after a natural disaster? Are you going to provide places for people to stay who have lost their homes? What do you need? How can you help? And the most important question is, why is this important? Why do you want to help others? Why do you want to create a service project to support others? If you wanted to, you can always brainstorm with someone at home ideas of a service project once you've selected the natural disaster of your choice. That might be the best starting point. So your job is to create a visual to present to the class or on Seesaw that proposes your service project to help victims of a natural disaster. You're going to take a video of yourself explaining your plan for your service project and post this on Seesaw. So it's really open-ended. You get to be creative. You get to think of how you can help others and how you can be empathetic for those who have been impacted by a natural disaster. On your video, you just have to explain what natural disaster you're focusing on, how are you planning on helping, who do you need to help you, what do you need to make this happen, and why do you feel this service project is important. This is a great project for those who love helping others, care about others, and want to go think outside the box and think about what a kid can do to make a big impact. So this is hypothetical, meaning it is not real. We're not actually going to do these service projects. But it's a way to get started on how you can help people in the future if a natural disaster does come up, or a way to build a voice for yourself of how you can help others. So maybe when you're older, you can find a job that helps others and can make a big impact. So if you're interested in option number 3 for our project, go ahead and screenshot this, post it on Seesaw, and explain why you think this project would be a good fit for you. Thank you for sticking with me this long. This is our last option. This is option number 4. I wanted to give you a lot of good choice since this is a big project for remote learning. And so you have 4 options to choose from. This is the last one. This one is to create a model or a visual of your natural disaster. You need to be prepared to explain your natural disaster in depth along with your model. So for example, you can make a diorama, a clay project, a paper mache project. I will show you examples on the next slide. So your focus is to choose one natural disaster. It could be a tsunami, it could be an earthquake, it could be a volcanic eruption. And you're going to create your model. Remember, this doesn't have to just be out of clay. You can make it out of any resources or materials you have at home. You must research your natural disaster though, and prepare note cards that answer the following 4 questions. 1, introduce your natural disaster. Why did this happen? Where do these happen? What are the effects or impacts of your natural disaster? Give information about a notorious natural disaster. That's a really big, bad, famous natural disaster that happened. So for example, if you're doing a volcanic eruption, maybe you want to do Mount St. Helens, maybe you want to do Mount Vesuvius, and you're going to choose a large natural disaster that's happened in our history and explain what happened, when it happened, where it happened. Number 3, you need to be prepared to explain how people can prepare for this natural disaster. What do people have to know? How should people react if this natural disaster were to take place? Finally, share 4 shocking facts about the natural disaster you chose. So you're going to take a video of your model and then share your note cards and then post your video on Seesaw. So if you choose to do this, you are going to create your model, have a video or picture of your model, and then answer these 4 questions or bullet points during your presentation. If you just do a model, that's not enough. You need to have a voiceover or a video of yourself giving facts and information about your natural disaster. And I told you exactly what you have to figure out. You just need these 4 points explained. Here are some examples of models that you can create. Up here we have a tornado. As you can see, the cannonballs make the shape of a tornado. We see buildings, we see some destruction coming. So if you chose this, you would make this model, take a picture of it, and then you would make 4 note cards for those 4 bullet points I gave you on the previous slide to answer, to explain your diorama and give more information about it. Here we have an earthquake. We see the plates are shifting. This is a model of an earthquake and seeing how plates shift, and you would explain the 4 bullet points previously explained. Up here we see a tsunami, so that's not actually water. I think they use some form of plastic to make it look like water, and it looks like it's coming towards the community right next door. So you would make this model and explain. Here we have a classic volcano that they seem to plan to erupt with baking soda and vinegar. And so you would take a video of your eruption and then you would explain your 4 note cards. Over here, this is one we haven't learned about, but it's a sinkhole. A very interesting natural disaster to learn about if you're interested in expanding outside of the natural disasters we have already learned about and researched through our remote learning of April. Alrighty, so you have 4 options. Before you make your final choice, I want you to consider what interests you the most. What is practical for you? What could you actually do at home with the materials and support you have at home? And what is most important to you? Which project do you connect with most? Remember to go back and take a screenshot of which project you choose to complete and post that on Seesaw explaining why you chose that project. If you have any questions, whether you're a parent, grandparent, or support at home listening to this video, or you are a 4th grade student, please do not hesitate to email Ms. Claver or myself, and our emails are attached below. We're happy to explain anything further. If you'd like to Zoom to talk through the project, we're happy to do that as well. Finally, here's how we're going to check our work. Remember, we show you rubrics so that you can see exactly what your expectations are. So our goal is I can use facts, details, and visual elements to create a multimedia presentation. Multimedia meaning using is a presentation that uses slides, video, or digital representation that includes sound to help you understand the information given. So, we expect the final product to use appropriate facts, descriptive details, and it supports the main idea of the project, which is to show your understanding of Unit 8. As you're presenting for your final products at your project that you're posting on Seesaw, we expect you to speak clearly and at an understandable pace. So a loud volume, steady pace, clear voice, easy to follow along with. We expect you to use visual elements or pictures or videos to help the audience or the viewers understand your project. And finally, we want you to draw evidence from an informational text to show your understanding. We are not making up facts for this. You can use your paper book, you can use Google, you can use any of the resources we use at school to find appropriate facts from sources that are reliable to describe your project, to give information on your project, and to do your best. I know you all will do a phenomenal job with this project. Try your best and have fun with this. This project is due by the end of the day Wednesday, and we look forward to seeing what you complete. Have a great week, 4th grade.